I'm gonna fart in y'all. What is going on? Yo, what's going on with y'all though? But all right, we here. Yeah, I just finished episode one. Actually, just to get with the night off. Of course, I mean this is in real time, but of course, y'all might. I'm gonna try to finish it all. Well, I'm gonna try to take my time though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take my time. But I mean, well, the way episode one got me interested in it, because like of course being in wrestling too, and I just love how when it comes to the old shit, I'm just so interested in. So yeah, I'm probably gonna depending on how it goes, yeah, I might get to finish it all, starting tomorrow. But yeah, I just got done with episode one, just so I can have that in my brain before I get a good night's rest. But yeah, here we are starting off with episode one, and of course, that's gonna have, any upbringing when it comes to Vince McMahon. But of course, y'all heard what the when it comes to Vince McMahon's statement and everything, him being practically pissed. Well, of course, when Netflix mentioned in the sex trafficking allegations and everything like that, I kind of made a post to the subreddit. If y'all was one of the subreddit that saw it, so yeah, obviously coming in, that he, of course he didn't want any parts of that, days before when he made that 2 hours, but days before the docuseries is coming out. And yeah, like I said, I hope this really, of course, it's probably gonna stay like really, like a docu, just like to let that out of the way, because of course, I mean, Netflix has kind of become like its own CNN, or Fox News, like kind of like that outlet that's will run along with a narrative, just so also they can benefit themselves in the long run. So, but yeah, like I said, hopefully it just doesn't really just parade into a whole. Because I hear they talk about, they practically bring up, which I actually do, because like I said, I mean, when it comes, like, the sexual assault allegations, which we all know is bullshit, but, when it comes to the other shit that Vince is actually guilty of, that's what I want to know, and the world should know about when it comes to the shit like, the Ring Boy scandal, involving Pat Patterson, and, of course, the Owen Hart story of how they just continued to show, which was, kind of messed up, where they just continued to show after Owen Hart's death. And, stuff like that, which I want to go into, which people are not essentially, especially fans of, which they were not really ready for it. But, yeah, that's kind of like the stuff I want to know. But I'm kind of guessing, like, it's just, like, kind of like on his, kind of like a short autobiography on Vince himself. And then, like, probably his family more, and then, of course, the whole WWE, some scandals, like probably gonna talk about the Benoit tragedy again, and of course Owen Hart and stuff like that, and the Montreal schools, just shit we already heard before. But like I said, still, I just like, hopefully, still like that the world, especially newer fans that need to be involved with. But here we are with episode one though of how. But yeah, and then they basically go, of course, just like any story, they basically, of course, we go into Vince's early life, his childhood, essentially they make way of how, he was trailer park trash, and, he was broke, and how, basically, Vince was also kind of like, a single household, he was a single parent in a household, a child, and that was living in a single parent household, and how, of course, the father absent, didn't really care for him all that much, and of course having a stepfather that beat the shit out of him on a daily basis, and was really kind of like really damning and really hurtful to hear, and also, and of course, when people get this misconception that when it comes to Vince McMahon, and like Vince like I said, he was, as a kid also, and his family, was broke. He didn't know who his father was, and he was living with his mother and some dude, of course, being abused and everything like that, as pretty much in general, pretty much like every child that had to go through. And like I said, people had the misconception, of course, now, just like any celebrity, where, if they look at Vince today and they misconstrue that which how basically he was kind of like a yuppie that grew up with his spoon in his mouth and shit like that. No, but yeah, Vince had to fight to where he is today. They struggled. Like Vince struggled. Like he was living in poverty. Like I said, pretty much like every other middle class or lower class family. And yeah, like they, that's it. But of course, that gets ignored. But it's because, of course, how especially American culture and how they view celebrities and how basically practically worshipped as gods, deities, and basically like glorified and stuff like that. So I mean, you can kind of partly put the blame on that, but still, Vince McMahon, yeah, he like Vince still. The point stand, like, yeah, look, yeah, as it's pretty much well known, of course, if you actually do your research as a wrestling fan, which you come to know that, yeah, Vince came from practically nothing. He was, that's it, like I said, he was flat out broke. And, him and his family grew up, well, like I said, him being a single parent in a household, grew up in poverty. So, just to shed light on that. And yeah, like, of course, coming to even recall one time, just like also I said pretty much probably like every other child. When first he even recalled, he said himself that he went to go hug his old man. He went to go for him a hug. Oh, finally seeing his dad. He's in tears, so happy, joyful. Yeah, this is my dad. I finally get to meet my dad, and he kind of like basically like, oh, whoa. It just basically like puts like stop and just says and just pats him on the back chest and just like I said, which is kind of really fucked up because damn, you do kind of course see that basically like every other dad child that went through that. So and but it was, I said, going into that and going into of course how being introduced by his father, being introduced into the business and how it works, and essentially, and how he was really desperate. Yeah, like practically, of course, looking at it and first discovering it, the wrestling business, and how he was just so gung ho, desperate. Of course, wanting to really get into the wrestling business, and being sad, them talking about how he was sent up to Maine. Of course, he goes to Maine. Somewhere, what did they say? They like Broner. And yeah, basically, which I kind of had a thought of, because of course, like I said, like, because that was my first introduction to Vince. Not knowing pretty much knowing at that point he owned WWF, like the company, the whole company. But yeah, like basically, but him basically doing announcing, and that's what. Of course, they had an announcer they had that he was basically saying asking for more money, and that he wanted, pay me. I'm basically out of here. I'll leave. I'm out of here if you're not paying me more money. And I said, not like we know the whole context of the situation, but pretty much like which is like kind of like basically, I mean, if you're not actually a valuable asset, so pretty much he was, of course, I said. He was like, he basically said he basically, because I was like part of his, Vince said that was kind of like a part of his father's whole personality, that he said he had a pack of coins in his hand and he would juggle around, and he was just thinking, he's like, Vince was like, what are you going to do, Pop? What are we going to do? And of course, he gets, Vince becomes the mainline announcer. And that's it. Of course, because what I also didn't know either, but I mean, he didn't even think of Vince being the successor. So I mean, obviously, that that I didn't even know also as well as I mentioned, that Gorilla Monsoon being that's also him being what basically his dad's right hand man. But practically, like before, he was the success. He was going to be the successor. Gorilla Monsoon was going to be the successor of the company, and he was basically practically to take over after Vince McMahon Sr. So, and of course, said that he basically felt competition, and well, it does. So, especially the way how Vince was, how hungry and determined he was, so much ambition he had. So, I mean, and yeah, of course, practically, yeah, stole the nose from out under him, and of course, like Vince basically, because he wanted them to do other things, and basically, and we all, of course, heard here, the thing of where, Vince McMahon Sr. not being that well fond of how Vince wanted to take the business in the direction he wanted to, and how the industry and how everything was going, basically in the next period, or how the upgrade, and him being basically not being a fan of where Vince wanted to take of where his son wanted to take the company, and him not being well into that, so yeah, but yeah. Of course, he acquires Vince is the whole. He's now Vince McMahon. Yeah, he's now the owner, of course, and they go into that, and yeah, I mean, yeah, he actually had, yeah, like, of course, like he actually had, but well, yeah, I'll get into that, but yeah, like obviously too. I mean, you can see why, but of course, like Senior, he wanted to, of course, have the whole about it be wrestling aspect, and just to be among the territories while he getting his, be cool with the other promoters and stuff like that while he's still getting his, and it all being about still territory, basically, being like a run between like a gang kind of affiliation between like stuff like that, and wanting to still be like, yeah, while also being cool with the promoters and stuff like that. Didn't really, instead of just that, like, yeah, pretty much his vision, except Vince, where he just wanted to turn the company, or take wrestling to where it's mainstream, basically, or it's like a media global conglomerate, where it's not even mainly about the wrestling. So, like I said, he even said it himself, like, which we pretty much already will know. It's like, of course, that part is well known. Is Vince notoriously not really liking wrestling, not being actually a fan, and actually be a part of the, actually in the sports entertainment, and entertainment, actually loving entertainment, actually, and really trying to shutting out the wrestling aspect, or as far as like the wrestling aspect having a much more smaller role, whereas the entertainment is, the big cheese. And of course, like, well, him acquiring the company, and like everything really going really well, and when, as far as like, because I mean, it really doesn't make sense. Also, like they had said, yeah, I mean, they really thought, and they just really bypassed and just really didn't. I mean, they fucked themselves over, which pretty much also was Vince here. Pretty much when when Vince turned it, was already when he could have saw. He saw the bigger picture, and when he saw that with his son, Vince was turn into what it was going to be in the future. Obviously, he's also said, fuck them all. I mean, we're making so much money. Of course he's going to be on the train. When initially, obviously he didn't really have any faith or all that well into his son, into Vince Jr. Of course, Vince McMahon taking it to where it is today. So, but yeah, I mean, they all fucked up. They got nobody to blame but themselves. Because I mean, yeah, like I said, they got nobody to blame but themselves. Because I mean, you have Vince, he's on Letterman, he's on all, and basically working with MTV and all these other just big media corporations, and he's just out there and gaining all this attention and just rising and just growing slowly, but bit by bit. And it's like, you're not gonna, like, you don't see that. Like, yeah, like, that's just, wow, like, that's it, like, pretty much, you just asking also, but yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you that they really didn't think that he was gonna, take it to where, where his basically, the wrestling company, his WWE is basically the Disney of the wrestling world. Would it be? Yeah. They really didn't think that that was gonna happen, and look at where we are now. Just talking about it. But yeah, of course, the rest is history, and of course it being about WrestleMania 1. Yeah, but before, yeah, I mean, he was also, of course, like I said, he was also privy of the fact that he was gonna turn, he was, like I said, he wasn't well. His Vince McMahon, senior. I mean, he wasn't very well fond because, of course, yeah, it was practically becoming Vince's vision. Of course, now that he owned the company, it was his own vision. He senior wanted Bob Backlund as the company's mascot. That was his vision for it. And also, which also is like, but pretty evident. I can see now, but yeah, like, wow, Vince initially wanted to go to Dusty Rhodes and have him be the company. Like, yeah, basically that was going to be his new vision for the WWF. But yeah, yeah, I mean, he, like I said that he wasn't really up for it. Like, he didn't really, he didn't really want all that pressure. He didn't really want to, be the face. And I'm told this, that, because, I'm told that, of course, so, Dusty being a part of that whole, especially, like, the South, and being a part of whoever he was signed to, didn't really want to mess with that. And, what I got going over here, that, I'm not going to try to mess that up. And, I mean, Vince is hated by these other promoters, and they're talking about, threatening Vince, and talking about damn near like it's a mafia movie. Or, Italian mafia movie, like, he's going to be sleeping with the fishes. Talking about, sending Vince at the bottom of the ocean. And it's like, I don't want to mess up what I got over here and everything. I feel like it's more of that, Vince has, it's basically a target to all these other promoters, and especially the one Dusty was signed to, so he probably, and I'm not going to mess with this, especially what I got on further, so, and don't really want to get involved with that, and just look at it as like, I mean, he's probably not going to go that too far. It's probably what Dusty was thinking at the time, and, and of course, eventually going to Hulk Hogan, and yeah, the rest is history. WrestleMania wants to, like, opening the door to what WWE is going into the future, and of course, like I said, they had big names like Cyndi Lauper, which kind of sparked and also was kind of got the ball rolling with, of course, you already had Miss Elizabeth when it comes to, like, women's wrestling, but it's all about the original. Well, I like how he said like a big word. Of course, Vince McMahon his big ass words, big fancy words, but he's like basically the fact, he said like the women's wrestling was basically like the glossy. It was like he said something like the glossy, and I like it, which means like second rate, mediocre. Basically, nobody giving a fuck about women's wrestling. Well, obviously, but yeah, like Cyndi Lauper, names like Cyndi Lauper, and of course Mr. T, Muhammad Ali being a part of like also just really. I'm kind of happy. Well, like I said, not really, but which I also they really need to go, like, you need somebody like a Drake or a Megan Thee Stallion, even like Jenna Ortega, or just like new big names, and as such, of course, or just plainly just names that you can, like. I hope they should really also just really go out, they really up the ante, triple just starts getting celebrities to really be involved, because. I said, I'm not really happy, essentially, because they get these, like, just these D-list type of celeb, like Jelly Roll. But like I said, I really hope they really go back into it. I mean, you have names like Logan Paul there, and of course, I Show Speedy. They, like, especially earlier this year, where they had I Show Speedy at WrestleMania, and of course, Logan Paul being a part of the company. I hope they really delve into that and make celebrities what they were a big part of. Of course, because fucking Triple H, but we already know like how he feels about, and how just he's so catering and wants to be desperately, on the knees for the IWC, but we're not gonna get into that. But yeah, like which I wish they would just do more of and get more into that, even though they kind of typing back into that, but they definitely need to do more of that. Of course, like I said, but yeah, having stars like Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T and the celebrities that the two were hot at the time, which definitely also helped. Also, which I said one of the main things that just helped and just blew WWE where Vince was trying to get it. And of course, you have that. So that's all history. And then Hulk Hogan, the birth of Hulkamania, and basically him, being the star the whole focal point, and just even bringing WWF into the mainstream even more. And yeah, like I said, they also kind of cut off and they go into the steroid trial, because they kind of leave it off there, which I'm guessing is going to be the next episode. And yeah, it's about to be getting really deep. But I said, it's like, I hope they introduce, because I also, like I said, heard that they kind of talk about other more scandals and like stuff like that, which I'm definitely open to. Like I said, because like especially like the newer wrestling fans and just overall, just people need to know about, especially all the other, like I said, the shit that Vince is actually guilty for, that we really need to look at and explore. So, but yeah, like I said, but the next episode, I think they're gonna go to the steroid trials, but and start off there. But yeah, most people probably said it was I think they. I mean, like I said, this was also intended originally to be the autobiography of Vince McMahon. And I said, of course, I adore him. I actually, he's just one of those people where actually I think, we're just him alone. The name alone is just very interesting, and I would want to know more. So that doesn't bore me. It's not like, because I said all the. You want to hear about the alligator? Not to know to mention that. I mean, we know about all the half the stuff already. But yeah, like, I mean, I don't want to know about all this shit, like, or I said having the allegations in there and stuff like that. I mean, that's whoever wants to like enjoy that, but didn't find that boring at all. They just, of course, you gotta, because every story has to start at the beginning and have a context to where you already have an idea about that character, and you have to just to get you hooked in to what. Of course, that's the whole the lore, being that it's a documentary also. So any story also that has to have a beginning to get you hook, line, and sinker. But yeah, I'm I said real time, and definitely can't. I'm expecting tomorrow, episode 2, and maybe I will, because like I said, I think I'm gonna also, which I'm also thinking to take my time, but I said we'll see. But I might even how it's going, I might even finish the whole damn thing, because it's only 6 episodes. So we'll move on to episode 2. Episode 2, and wow, then it get even more spicier. That bowl of spices just immediately pop. Hot damn. And just as I forgot to mention at the beginning of episode 1, this started. I mean, they were already on that by the end of the late 80s, when you had things like you had like the motherfucker, what's his name? I forgot, Hostel, Rostel, that was running around. Some reporter, as WrestleMania was coming up in Chile. He was he was running around the locker room and trying to get wrestlers to say if this was fake or not. And of course, oh wow, you had Vince. You had Vince. He was saying, I would just. He had said it not. It's almost like they made it like even the wrestlers too. They made it like pretty much like I want one of you niggas to take him out, take this motherfucker out, put him on his ass, put him in his place. So show him that we don't fuck around. And Vince was pretty much said I wish somebody would take care of this guy, is what they said along the lines of that. When he was like and you had him come up to say, "Is this wrestling fake?" And David Schultz, the dude, yeah, that infamous clip. I've seen that clip many times too, and he's just like straight up just slaps the shit out of him. And I can only imagine too, because that dude looks like he was like probably like something of 100 pounds, and David Schultz is just hulking, just muscle bound, like yeah, just like yeah, medium built, and probably like half 200 and some pounds, and just so tall that I can see yeah, I could see like he had because he got his ear was damaged. He said he had ear permanent damage and shit, and like basically couldn't hear. Oh damn! And that was a lawsuit right there. That was probably like the first of other lawsuits. And then you had the Richard Belzer thing. The dude, of course, the comedian, actor. Some of you might know who he is, but I know him from Law and Order, and of course, but yeah, and that was a second lawsuit where you had he was still basically mocking and making it as if wrestling was a joke. It's all fake, and I was like, all right, motherfucker. You had Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, and of course, like Richard Belzer is this skinny. He's pretty. He's damn near skinny, bro. He's like a stick, and Hogan is like this, just basically the Hulk. And he's just like, he puts him in the, all right, all right, I'm gonna put you in this headlock, all right, I'll show you how real it is then. And he's just like, he puts Richard in that headlock, and yeah, like basically puts him almost, damn near puts him to sleep. And then he hits his head, and they said, oh yeah, of course, his head starts bleeding and everything like that. And that's the second lawsuit right there. So yeah, I mean, they were pretty much already getting into that start. That was like basically they were pretty much when it came to the lawsuits and everything like that. That was already when it started between with those two, the reporter and and Richard Belzer. So this is where we get tasty, and of course they go right. Yeah. So we check right into of course episode 2, and they start off with, of course, after the success of WrestleMania 1, and of course they got to do bigger. They got to do bigger and better, and try to be even more, very commercial, and yeah, of course, sell the WWE, WWF at the time, even more. And of course, that's when WrestleMania 3 comes around. Well, that's kind of crazy too. Like, at this point, like, cause like when I was like very little, and like the very real late '90s and the early 2000s. Well, cause I like kind of saw glimpses of the match and everything like that relating to that, especially about the whole thing about the Golden Era too. And then up until like, of course, when YouTube was starting to be a thing, and in like the mid 2000s, is like I pretty much like only saw clips and glimpses like of when it came to WrestleMania 3. But yeah, like I remember it being, of course, especially all that. That was like a very because I said still at the time I wasn't really that much. I didn't really get a glimpse of the golden era, but of course I started to watch it. Also was more and more. But yeah, that was yeah. Of course, at this point I watched the match, especially wrestling. Not only WrestleMania 3. I don't think I have. I don't think I watched WrestleMania 3. It was one of the ones I didn't watch in full yet. But the Hogan and Andre match I had watched pretty much like I want to say like prior like a good amount of times, and at this point just a lot that I kind of like watched it when it came to the Hogan and Andre match and everything, and the spectacle of that. Well, yeah, that was like a very big deal though, and I said, but well, that was pretty good. But and of course, and that's also hearing just when it came to Andre, yeah, and how. I mean, I only, like I said, like, still, like, I only heard glimpses, and I didn't, I don't know. I always thought, like, Andre, of course, died from natural causes. Like, and, like, I don't know. I felt like something else just really had, like, when it came, I just felt, because even the longest time, too, I didn't even know Andre was dead. Like, yeah, I didn't even know he passed away. But, yeah. So like also pretty much at this point, I'm like, yeah, of course we all know what happened to Andre and how much pain he was in, and just very sad. And that he was just, it's almost like you could see it too, like he was just in pain, and how he could just, like, yeah, he was practically, his whole body was shattered, and he was only holding it for as long as he could. And yeah, that's a shame, bro. And yeah, like of course, that's what we all know the story about Andre, and of course the passing of the torch to Hogan, and just how everything flourished from there, which is yeah, pretty much the other half of the documentary. Still like the golden era becoming into how it was, and then Hogan being the star maker, really being the putting that the WWF on, in the, like, straight into the mainstream, and completely on the map. And yeah, they had oh yeah, they also they brought up and talked about how some of the things they really brought. Yeah, I like, now this is what I like, bro. Like, the shit starts to get really even deep, and pretty much some stuff which, like I said, but the newer wrestling fans need to know about, and people just need to know about, though. But yeah, we like, but they did start off with how the Jesse Ventura was trying to get he was, because of course the whole thing of, like, nowadays that wrestlers, they're like spoiled brats, and they don't really get I feel like they don't really appreciate, now wrestlers nowadays don't really appreciate it, and feel like they're on top because they of course you're in the spoils now, and living what the OGs had to build the back off of. And yeah, like, of course, WWE, when it was getting, like, when it was WWF, when it was getting started, when Vince was trying to build his company, everybody was working 24/7, 365 a year. Like, they were like, I don't even imagine that. No breaks off, and just every time, just work. Damn, like, that had to be hard. And of course, that whole thing, like I said, nowadays, where it's just they got guaranteed contracts, and they don't have to worry about that. But back then, yeah, like, they had the claw, and for what they got, they didn't have guaranteed shit. I mean, yeah, you didn't work. Yeah, I pretty much how they said it also as well. Like, yeah, you didn't work, you didn't get paid, and yeah, like I said, I feel like I also get pissed off at that, especially when it comes to the wrestlers of today, because they don't really appreciate. How, I mean, I said some do, but like I feel like when it comes to wrestlers, like probably like a Daniel Garcia, an MJF, or even a Mercedes Moné, they probably don't really appreciate the, like, where the business is not at now, because they they don't have to worry about, they got guaranteed everything, and they've never had to really really squabble to get a place, to really get something to treasure. So they but yeah, that was I like how they talked about that too. But yeah, like, they also the fact that so Jesse Ventura was trying to get a union started, and get the wrestlers to all come together and get a union started, and basically, like, I guess, you should know how that works. If you have a job and there's ever been a union, or you try to get much more benefit, more pay, and everything like that. And yeah, of course that all fell on top of his head and shit like that. And they had the whole thing of Hogan's a stitch, and just another thing of just Hogan, just people not liking Hogan. Oh man, just of course Hogan foiling and really telling Vince and everything like that. and how it's just completely fell on short. And but yeah, of course, and this is where we get into first. They start showing glimpses of the steroid trial, and like they had because one of the first few people they say. Because, of course, still, even though wrestling is popular as it was, they still wasn't really touching it at the time, as they like to say. Because wrestling is still we even how the world treated wrestling, especially at the time, and just even more so today that it was beneath them, as they put it. So there was like only just one guy that they were talking about how that was like talking like even had, of course, he's in the documentary, he also is there to talk among the interviews, that he was basically probably like the only guy that was really talking about the WWE. And like they made it, they like there was like only really he was really like the only journalist at the time to really talk or anything updated about pro wrestling. And they like it felt like, of course, they just saw how he had a vendetta, or he was just like he just wanted to get something out of, and like you never hear the end of it too. That's pretty much all. That's pretty much the whole thing with when it comes to the media and as such too. And it definitely came across that way too. It didn't really feel like he really cared about when it came to the scandals and shit like that. He was just trying to get the pretty much probably in the way he did, but pretty much just trying to get the WWE, just trying to get all this heat and maybe shut down the WWF. So, but clearly, even to this day, Burt Dad just that, of course, that one guy that just doesn't like, and that just thinks of WWF as this big evil, and kind of got a point too, because they but because of course I think they go right into, because of course at that time too, where they do the storyline where of course you have the Gulf War and things of that nature happening, the whole USA against Iraq. I guess that was probably one of the where they was to that point to where that Iraq was becoming in the early 90s, 90, of course 91 and 2, where that Iraq was becoming and that was probably one of the first times that Iraq was becoming an enemy for the USA. So of course that they did the whole storyline with Sergeant Slaughter and Hogan being the patriotism and the the U.S. hero against the Iraq sympathizer, basically the traitor in Sergeant Slaughter. And I can only imagine this at that time, especially how it was like going through, because I guess what Iraq had hostages and stuff like that, U.S. POWs, and how probably people that was family, families of people over there that they had. And you got Sergeant Slaughter being this Iraq character, and just basically overall just practically one of the one of the enemies, one of the Iraq, and say how he got the death threats and how they were I say I can only imagine. Damn, that was probably like just wow, really really dangerous how they were portraying that. But I mean I don't think they'll do anything like that, which I don't think they really do anything like that today, because of how, of course, the era we live in now, and how everything is just even more so politically correct, and how pop culture is just completely subdued, and hands-on generation, how this generation is about everything. So just how they're so this generation, how they're just offended to everything. So, but that was very good to look into also. But they like now. So this is where it turns to, because I don't think some of the allegations, like I said, some of the scandals is not that much of a really that they don't really have that much of a scope on them. And yeah, we go right into the Ring Boy scandal also, and whoa, and I don't know, the first time, because this is like the second time. This would be the second time also, which I'm just really getting into it and really like having information about it. I guess like the first time I ever heard about some of the scandals too. Like it was of course the Owen Hart one, because I was watching the W at the time, and then of course the steroid trial, and then I don't know. I don't think I really, but I heard this with select few. But yeah, like I guess this is still one of the very few times when it comes to some of the scandals that was going on at the time. Of course, that involved Pat Patterson, one of Vince's boys, friends, basically, and it's like how what did I think that the boy was one of the boys too, and how they went into how it was basically top executives who were powerful people basically, and some of the executives were WWF, were in the WWF, and I think that I think he committed suicide because one of the victims, the main victims that got a voice really, Tom Cole, and he was a referee. He was trying to be a referee. Wait, let me see. Yeah, they say he died. Let me see. Trying to. Yeah, cause I heard. Yeah, I heard. Wait, some. I don't know. Hold on. Hold on right here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it says right here that he took his. Let me see. Like, yeah, he committed suicide. Well, that's what the whole thing about his brother, and it said that that he committed. So I don't know that whole thing about how, but yeah, of course, yeah, but yeah, about that he was one of the Tom Cole, that he was a ref, basically, yeah, an employee, or I think a referee, or whatever, that he was at WWF, and it's like I said, wow, some of the things really fucked me up too, because like wow, it's like I mean, yeah, he let some of the executives that was also a part of it go. But yeah, I mean, especially Pat was still there, and it was like, and of course he was also coming back to the company, and it was like, I mean, duh, I mean, yeah, Pat Patterson, he was, I mean, also being, which I didn't even know too, but yeah, I mean, pretty obvious also, but being one of the bookers at the time, and just a best friend of Vince, and close to Vince, and of course in his circle, so. Obviously he didn't let anything happen to him, and it's like, it's not like this is because, I mean, it's not like this is like they don't really have. I mean, we don't, of course, you don't have any proof, but still, I mean, it happened. Like I said, but basically because the other two executives are gone, and like, of course, Pat Patterson is still there. He's not gonna let Pat go, and of course, being Pat basically, not that it matters too, but yeah, being Pat being gay and everything like that, and but yeah, like that also just like really, that also really too, really like started my attention because. Yep, because he got this. It's of course it's clearly obvious. Especially given the relationship and how of course how Pat being one of the and also just how just very involved in the WWF and a part of still of that the WWF events at the time. So yeah, of course, I mean, of course that wow, I mean, you really gotta like, damn, basically basically a pedophile ring, and I mean, Vince practically protected Pat Patterson and didn't really do anything, or there wasn't no investigation of its own in WWF. So like I said, that's the actual shit I want to talk about. Wow, and that's just like, wow, that's like really crazy, yeah, really insane, and just one of the many things about how, yeah, I mean, oh yeah, Vince covered. Like I said, like too, like also Omicron. There's probably more shit too that Vince covered a lot of shit up. And Pat Patterson and this ring boys, this pedophile ring, this little pedophile ring, basically in his own company, that yeah, he practically covered up. And yeah, I mean, that's never good. Of course, that's never going to get answered for. And yeah, I mean, there you go. You know, and but which they also, of course, they also bring. We also get into bring up and get into of course, the referee, the Rita Chatterson, which also she got it like early as last year that got a settlement, which also, I mean, which I also kind of raised an eyebrow at, because yeah, I mean paying a settlement too, that also like pretty much confirms they're guilty. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if I could really believe that one, especially just at the time too, and then now how another scandal is on him. So I guess just probably just wanting to take all about wanting to like push back against the heat when it comes to Vince. It's probably about that, but yeah. Also, of course, Rita Patterson also being another pretty much scandal on this. Basically the initial sexual misconduct allegation, and of course how she was raped. Vince basically raped her, and of course he basically saying because at one point also that basically it was consensual, that they had consensual intercourse, and sexual intercourse that they had between them. And yeah, like basically, and of course, it's basically a he said, she said kind of deal, kind of like how what's going on right now with Janel Grant, and she's like basically too like another one which I really didn't know about, and I haven't any information besides, like I said, besides some of the other scandals too, but the one of the few that I did know. But yeah, I mean. That's like I said, that's kind of that's just like very also very wild to look at too. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's to take anything. I mean, probably something even did happen. But I mean, I don't really put that much stock. I don't really like put that much into I don't really believe. When it comes to this particular story with the whole thing with the Rita Chatterson referee and everything, and the allegations and stuff like that, the sex assault allegations, stuff like, yeah, I don't. This is one where I just, yeah, I don't really because it's just like, especially her also probably, yeah, pretty much taking a settlement after all these years too. So I feel like, yeah, it's just one of those, yeah, just like this girl, this woman probably just had of course, you just look at a thing where just, of course, this woman just really fell over for this rich guy, and they had a consensual relationship, and of course after that she accuses him of rape, and it's all about when it, we know how things go from there. And yeah, there's also just of course, but like this steroid trial, and how like basically of course which we all very know now, and how Hulk Hogan basically pretty much they try to tout it as him betraying Vince, and I don't know, like, yeah, they say like solid, of course I had no choice, and like he basically had to testify, and it was no choice, or he would basically be in prison. And I mean, I don't know. Because it is the government, yeah, and it's not like they really gave a fuck about even like everything else that was going on at the time against this dude right here. I probably even still don't give a fuck, because when it comes to government, especially also just because the media, I mean, just like, yeah, like the media just now I mean, you only have the major sites that were just reporting on when it came to, like, of course, the Janel Grant and the sex trafficking allegations of that, but they don't really care about the whole, when it comes to, like, the whole thing about the wrestling, because, of course, it's wrestling, and, who wants to fucking talk about wrestling? That was just the whole thing, when it comes to the mainstream. But yeah, also feel like too. Yeah, this is really in the matter too. It was just like about what comes for me when it comes to the steroid trial. I don't look at it as that big of a deal. I mean, of course, you had the whole Reagan era and how they're saying, yeah, of course, like, get drugs out, and how it was just yeah, drugs are bad, and yeah, and they should be outlawed. I don't know. And steroid is, yeah, practically a drug, so I guess I don't see how it's that big of a deal. But yeah, I mean, it is the government, and they'll do anything out of spite and anything. And I guess I don't know. I feel like they just didn't really care. The case wasn't even really, they didn't really gave, about the whole case. It was just about trying to get Vince McMahon, which I feel like. But yeah, when it comes to I don't know. I feel like when it comes to whole steroid trials, to me, that it doesn't really, it's not that big of a deal. But but yeah, like yeah, that's pretty much like how they still like, yeah, that's pretty much episode 2 where they cut the end off that. But yeah, they also another scandal too with the whole Jimmy Snuka. Yeah, which that could have been a whole cover up by Vince too. But yeah, I mean, I really hope they dig more deep into the into more scandal. Yeah, like this is, yeah, I really like that too. That they pretty episode 2, pretty good. I say, even though I was against the whole thing about Netflix trying to, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see Vince. I mean, he's still, it's like I feel like Vince just had a problem with probably like the whole Janel Grant and allegations being mentioned, that thing. But I feel like like he talked, because he pretty much is talking about everything else too, and about the scandals too, and of course just I'm just this of course this big tyrant with all this power and money, and everybody is of course just out to get me. And yeah, which I could probably believe on some sort of level. But yeah, I mean yeah, that was episode 2. That's how it's where it stops off at. And but could be even more. I really do hope they delve into more, because yeah, like I said too, I mean, not that we have really any proof of, like, when it comes, I guess, to the I don't know. I said, not that we have any proof when it comes to the sexual assault allegations part of Vince McMahon's many of Miss McMahon's scandals, but I feel like, yeah, when it comes, like, obviously these other scandals too, which that we need to talk about, especially to like of course the pedophile ring, the Ring Boy scandal with Pat Patterson. I feel like, yeah, because that, of course, that's a real thing. That's in history. So yeah, and Vince probably had a part to play, or he basically, or just basically covering that up. And that's where I feel like, yeah, that's like just real shit that we should just, of course, Vince be exiled for it and have to be accountable for it and answer for it. So, but yeah, let's oh yeah, I'm even more. Let's get episode 3. Like, yeah, what's very more excited what episode 3 is going to be about. So, which I'm pretty sure they're going to go to the new generation and everything like that, and how everything was getting out of control with drugs or probably sex and everything like that. Basically the rock star world. And basically, so yeah, let's get into that, because they started off, they were also mentioning, of course, the WCW competitor, of course, Eric Bischoff and everything like that. So I'm guessing, which they already kind of went into, but yeah, let's and basically Hulk Hogan, after that, steroid trials, going to the WCW, signing with WCW, and of course Ted Turner, and WCW being the actual competitor to WWF. But yeah, let's which I'm pretty more they're going to get more into. So yeah, episode 3. Yeah, but episode 3 is basically about, of course, the Monday Night Wars, WCW and WWF, Montreal Screwjob, things that. But pretty much, like I said, the kind of like some of this documentary is like just shit we kind of already know. So yeah, or at least for like fans like me, that is probably not. I guess because like I said, the whole spinning point, the whole selling point that they had about probably, like I said, since the allegations come out and the whole Janel Grant thing was probably like that the whole marketing plan. But yeah, it's like I said, it's basically Netflix's own documentary of like just like yeah, because a lot of this shit I already basically. I said it's not like we already know and obviously have knowledge of. Like I said, especially with the Montreal screw job, because that's been done to death. So I'm not gonna really repeat I'm not gonna really try to repeat myself and go over that, because like I said, most of us like we grew up with it, so it's not really. Because like I said, like what I was hoping like some of this documentary is not of this. I said basically this is Netflix of their version of just a documentary of, or their version when it comes to pro wrestling, or just like WWF, and I guess yeah, they also spin of course the Janel Grant and allegations as that marketing point, of course. But yeah, like I said, just I was like kind of already affected that. Yeah, most of this shit is just going to be about what we already know. So even though, like I said, the point, also just be majorly being about when it's not really. I mean, well, yeah, of course, WWE and Vince go in the hand, but yeah, like I said, most of it, like I already know about this, so it was more so. It's like, but yeah, I mean, I still will talk a little bit about it. As we left off, yeah, they leave off with, of course, still going, just going on, clearing up and wrapping up the steroid trials, and how Hogan basically being the backstabber and not basically I didn't even know that. Yeah, I thought it was just the whole thing of how just how Hogan just betrayed him and basically like left, and basically just straight up the betrayal of Vince. And yeah, I guess of course the whole thing with him basically the government having a noose by Hogan's neck, and him gotten to tell it, and how he basically lied about having he was also in steroids too, and everybody else also coming out saying like, yeah, I mean, here we saw him take steroids. We took steroids, among the wrestlers too. Like, yeah, I face to face, like damn near looked in his face and gave him steroids. I shot him up with steroids every single day. And yeah, of course. I mean, that's all about, like, obviously, I don't know. Honestly, why this? I mean, the Hogan. I felt like probably like just Hogan probably wanted to be more sympathetic, have just get the heat off him. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's pretty much nothing you can do like there. And I don't know, he just probably just all that just heat. So just having that being hella nervous and not knowing what to do, and just being caught by the balls. But yeah, still, but yeah, wow, because Vince actually wanted him to tell, just tell your own steroids, and obviously he didn't do that. And of course, him leaving WWF and going to WCW, and of course Ted Turner and everything. That's when they also get into Ted Turner, the whole rivalry thing with the whole standoff, Ted Turner, Vince McMahon, WCW, just the new baby basically just coming out of nowhere, and smack a dab WWF and Vince in the face. And yeah, that's what they also pretty much going like of course the WCW beating them for, of course, 83 weeks. But WCW being the whole new thing, basically, being starting the the Attitude Era, and of course Hulk Hogan going heel, the beginning, and then NWO and WCW just being a hot commodity while of course the new generation and then WWF basically becoming an afterthought at at that in those 83 week squabble. And just like, and like I said, they also was going to the screw job, and of course, like I said, that's been of course, it's not like y'all need to really tell me too, because that's as that being told to death. But yeah, the Montreal screw job, Brett not really wanting to drop, the championship to Shawn, because of course, they had their own rivalry. And of course, like y'all know about that, and Shawn versus Brett, and the history between there, all know, all know what happened there, and pretty much, like I said, that's what pretty much episode 3 is about. Is just this the Monday Night Wars and the Montreal screw job and things things here and there. But I don't really want to repeat, and just like, because when it comes to those specific stories and history, we already know the climax. But that was a pretty it kind of got like new information and that I wasn't privy to. But really dug episode 3 is a good episode too. I mean still that's it. This documentary, just like I said, just hope they would do more. Hoping they do more. Here's to more wrestling documentaries and just more wrestling content when it comes to Netflix and everything. So, but episode 3 is pretty kind of cool. Even though, when it comes to me, I guess, even though I've pretty much seen it all. But when it comes to the Monday Night Wars and the Montreal screw job, but they pretty much I think we're getting ready to go into, of course, the Attitude Era, and but they're so which I think I also really talk about, because they brought up the fact that they pretty much that of course that Vince wasn't ready to really go into it. Of course, WCW was already there because the new kids on the block, and it was the rage of the 90s, which was the whole thing about being edgy and rebellion and just this, dark side, just the dark side of everything all. And but Vince not being particularly ready yet at that point. But of course, he had they also talked about the curtain call. And I said I wasn't really privy. It's one of the things I don't really have that much knowledge on. And actually, I mean, of course, it's meant to be an innocent thing. And Vince was actually cool with it, because he didn't really know how far they was going to take it. And obviously, like I said, I don't know, when it comes to kayfabe, as they talked about it, I mean, which is the whole thing. I don't know, especially now. I've always, like I said, like, even the wrestling could be the subpar business of it all. It could be a secondary. I've always looked at wrestling as if I'm watching a movie or a TV show, or just entertainment. That form, because it's just another form of entertainment. I've always looked at wrestling that way. I mean, so I said some people might disagree and or have their own opinion. I'm sorry, but especially how I just like as I said before, like I've always just enjoyed the entertainment factor more so all, and just wrestling just came along with it. But I never really cared that much for kayfabe, because I mean, I even then I feel like some people even do that. Of course, that we all. It's just it's like a showmanship. It's like or theater, or it's like you're going to see a movie, or just operating something. This isn't real, and it's make believe. So I always felt, even so too, because I never felt like I feel like I always had that feeling that I didn't. I mean, duh. I mean, this is really, of course, this is fake. This is it's just it's just entertainment, and none of it is just when it comes to, at least when it comes to the entertainment aspect, not talking about the wrestling part, but of course, of course, this is all just this make believe. And you know, we're all it's it's just a part of all a part of a script. It comes down to a script. So yeah, let's say I never really cared about the whole kayfabe thing because I mean, this shit is fake and it's not real. Like, when it comes to the the entertainment part and this is all just they're all on a script and being told what to do, and it's just I mean, it's no different from watching any other form of entertainment. So, but yeah, that's just like even though I probably kind of like just repeated words, but yeah, that's kind of like how I always felt about kayfabe and just the whole thing about because I mean, of course, the wrestlers of that time was just so adamant and dead on to protecting the business, and of course Vince and everything like that. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course, I get the whole big deal. I don't know, the whole old school. I feel like yes, it's just like Triple H and all them said that it was a new era was being dawned on them. I mean, things are changing, and had to get with the times. And obviously, I guess they weren't. Yeah, of course, the whole we know the whole infamous of it all. Triple H being the one to take the fall, which is also pretty kind of fucked up because Shawn's the champion, and Razor and Scott, Scott and Nash were already gone. So I mean, obviously you got to punish the rookie Triple H. So yeah, but like I said, I don't really if I can see anything else that didn't really kayfabe didn't really. I'm just one of the at least one of the ones where I just where I just didn't really care about kayfabe because I just entertainment was the sole bearer for me. But I mean let's I said nothing really to talk about. I mean it's just like when it comes to if you're like me and you practically already know everything there is to know about from Vince to of course the scandals and everything and just pretty basic level stuff that's pretty much world known, like the Montreal Screw Job and the Monday Night Wars. So like I said, I'm not gonna repeat myself, but let's episode 4 here. Let's I'll be right back. Let's move on to episode 4. Episode 4. Here we are. Yep. Oh yeah, we damn near halfway done. But here we are at episode 4, and going into pretty much the Attitude Era. So the Monday Night Wars still, and of course the whole war. Vince, Ted Turner, what actually could be is Vince against Eric Bischoff. It's just that the latter also. I can't wait till we get that, but I still let you that though, but Vince wanting to I mean, I feel like because it's not like I don't know, did they even really it's not like they really came out. I mean, people say that, but it's not like because Eric made it like that Vince wanted to make it like he just he didn't want to be so embarrassed and humiliated about the fact that it's this squeamish kind of like journalist type of guy, Eric Bischoff, against Vince Kennedy McMahon and the WWF. Like, I'm more so like it's not like they put it out there that Eric Bischoff. I mean, he probably like found out later on in the end, but still, like I feel like initially that. Of course, didn't really know who Eric was. It's not like we knew that he was like. I mean, even though he was probably like somewhere on paper that Eric Bischoff was the CEO and practically the co-owner of WCW. But it was like that because I mean, pretty much because that's how because Ted Turner was there. Was of it all. He was on top of it all. He was in of everything, and it was all Ted Turner, and that's who was really That's we look at it as a spin of history, to where it probably was on some degree, but I mean it was all stemming from, and Eric was basically getting the bark his orders from Ted Turner, and it was pretty much Ted Turner Vince, because that was the that was it was between right there, like it was like it really wasn't Eric, and probably like halfway still. I mean, and kind of in a way it's still like it was and it still is, but I mean the initial fight, which we already know, this was between Vince and Ted. So But just now noticing that we try to spin it that, but yeah, but yeah, yeah, that was just that really was that what a what a comedy skit that was. That was a that made me really giggle all the way out because yeah how but I mean yeah I feel like but yeah it's like still because it was like they had the whole rivalry between Ted Turner and Vince, so it wasn't really like, and Eric was just another body. So but yeah, like I guess everybody has their own perspective of how the Attitude Era began. I mean, people say, of course, which really is. I mean, people say DX and Shawn Michaels, how that started, and how the rise of DX, and or Austin with the whole 316 monologue. Yeah, and yeah, like and even probably like Vince and everybody, and which they thought it started, of course, on night. I mean, it could have are very much well off, but yeah, like myself too, like pretty had an idea that how the Attitude Era started. But yeah, they say like it's kind of like started how one night Vince wasn't there, and they saw like Shawn Michaels. They saw like where there's a segment where he was like, of course, he came out with the fucking sunglasses, like he was shot out like he was like right out of like a this cool ass vampire, or it's like this action type of flick where he just had his like these glasses, these shades on, and these just basically half-ass naked, and with these biker shorts on, while he was just fully bare. And they say it was a sock, but no, Sean says that it was like a wrapped gauge that was like in the bulge to make it a bulge in the front of his biker shorts. So or he does the whole like infamous chalk, the chops, the DX chops, where he's like, hey, look at my cock, hey, and, he starts jumping up and down, yeah, and yeah, that's essentially where they feel like the whole Attitude Era thing started from there. And yeah, kind of like I said, like everybody has their own to where they think the Attitude Era started, whether it may be the Monday Night Wars or of course DX and or Stone Cold, like stuff like that. But I mean, and there's plenty of ways to where you think the Attitude Era could have started. And this is where they also kind of like they do more dwell, which I feel like they should have done. I mean, you could have touched more, like of course halfway with the also, because it's not like the WWF is Vince McMahon, and that's just basically his origin. But still, like this is also where they of course we get more of that touched, or more like it kind of like a blend of like fact or fiction with the Vince McMahon character. And he says like he kind of got his whole persona from this guy that this wrestler that he used to watch growing up, that he was a fan favorite of. And yeah, you can kind of also see it, that he would probably try to copy this strut and try to be like that guy, and he was just more so naturally came across as a bad guy. And yeah, like I said, I definitely also probably wanted episodes that I like more, for sure. That it's kind of like, and I blur, of course, to blur the lines between the Vince himself and the Mr. McMahon character, the whole But of course, people try, like I said, and I watched with Dr. Wall. I'll try to make you believe that it was just so damn funny too how it was. You have like some wrestlers, some of the names, people like they're like like people like I think people like Tony Atlas and Hulk Hogan or and shit like that. They like you'll have one person like you'll have one of them like, no, I think it's like, or like Shane McMahon, of course, because Shane McMahon. But yeah, you'll have Shane McMahon like go like, yeah, of course, you can't really. It's like separate. It's like they're like separate from each other. Of course, it's a character, and then you have Vince McMahon. And it's like, fuck, yeah. Like, come on, you have like somebody like Tony Atlas and other wrestlers like, fuck out of here, like, yeah, like Vince is the same character, like that, yeah. They go one in hand, like they are the same thing, and then well, I feel like and he kind of like goes into it to himself too, of like how that he probably like yeah, like pretty much like how everybody like when you get carried away with something, like nah, but like. But yeah, like he kind of like made privy of the fact too, like how, yeah, he's probably tapped into that character and made it probably like as if it was a real thing. I'm pretty sure, yeah, like which we pretty sure I know the thing of, but like, I mean, yeah, like which I probably like to believe too. It's like, yeah, of course, like there's like, it's a character, and I mean, it's probably like shades of it in his real life to where, of course, I mean, but yeah, I mean, these are two different people. It's not like it's not like, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's pretty, he's pretty guilty of a lot of shit, really dastard, disturbing shit. But it's not like, yeah, he's not like he's this character that just is like holding, a lot of people hostage, or he's doing this, he's doing that to children, or women, as as a lot of people love to have you believe. But yeah, I mean, they're two separate entities, when it comes to Vince McMahon and Mr. McMahon, the character. And so, but yeah, like they kind of they also kind of like a number of things too, like with the women. But I don't want to get into that. All the other things. I want to go that much deep into it, because I also don't want to save some of the things like they're mentioned. I want to save for what I do with like video of its own. Yeah, they're kind of like be saved for a video of its own someday. But yeah, like, and they ended off of they end this episode off of they ended off with the Owen Hart's death, of course, and which I'm pretty sure that's kind of like pretty much like the others. Other stories have been talked about a lot, and yeah, so that kind of brought the emotions out of me also again, and yeah, I didn't think that they were gonna also talk about that also, but yeah, so yeah, they brought that up too, and how of course the whole thing and how it happened and the day leading up to it, and where it had like him. Thank goodness too, there's no footage out there, real footage when it happened, and no footage at all. Yeah, thank goodness for that. But God, thank God. But yeah, of course y'all know how that ended and how sad that was. But and yeah, like we get to this part to where it's just like, because Brett, oh my God, yeah, I'd be, yeah. I also had to say that too, where I forgot to like Brett, like just like where he said with like he was like basically the shining armor of the new generation era. When we all know, like when you're sitting here, it's like, because a lot of shit too, like I remember too, it's like when, of course, like a lot of this shit, just like with the Owen Hart thing, like I was too young to remember that. But like it's like, yeah, like of course you're older now, you're an adult now, and a lot of shit is just much more clear, and oh, I didn't really remember as a kid, but now I remember this. And it's like, oh, okay, oh, now I get why. People just can't stand it. Though Bret Hart was a fucking, he was just straight up a mark for himself all throughout this, and all throughout this fucking documentary. Like now, like it's like now I understand why people just like, yo, Bret, shut the fuck up. Yo, can you relax, man? Like, damn, like Brett was a nuisance throughout this whole thing. Like, God, and it's like making it about him essentially. Like everything when it came to him, it was like he had to get his life. It's just all about just trying in some way trying to make it about Bret Hart. And it's like, of course, yeah, that was fucking funny too. Where it's like he tried to say like, so when it came to the new generation era, like he didn't have all these other guys like Shawn or Undertaker helping. where he was basically the whole shining armor, and like how Brent, it cut to Vince. I like how they did that. Yeah, that was funny too. Yeah, they like cut to somebody to like basically like that didn't happen. That didn't actually happen. Here's what actually happened. And they did that. That was fucking hilarious. And they're like, well, Brett, you had all these other guys. Yeah, you were not real. Brett. Yeah. Brett was the focal, kind of like the focal guy. He didn't have any charisma. Yeah. Like I said, I was laughing out loud. I got that. But yeah, just like we're here, it's like Brett says that he think I don't even know, he said at the time also, which I probably didn't dig one deep, but yeah, that WWE probably like murdered Owen to get back at him, and it was like, God, yeah, you gotta be kidding me, man. And I was like, oh man, it's one of those things, and I just like, oh man, you just take a big deep breath, and it's just like, okay. Yeah, he really just said that, and yeah, I don't, yeah, I no reason, of course, yeah, because you gotta have the, not only you gotta have mentioned the Montreal Screwjob and some of these, you gotta have Brett. But it's I think of Brett, not only, when it comes to Triple H and some like Triple H or Shawn and Kurt Angle, some of the guys just being some of my like favorite best wrestlers of all time. But I think of that as Bret Hart too. When it comes to wrestling aspect, yeah, he's probably like in my top 10 or top 20 of greatest, even talking to top 3 wrestlers when it comes to the wrestling aspect of all time. But it's it's like you sit, when you finally get to sit and watch, like I do with this documentary, like you finally get to see why everybody how they shit on him. I used to I get mad, or when everybody like tries to talk shit about Brett and how he's so bitter and old and miserable. And yeah, he really is. It's true. He really I'm pretty sure that point when it comes to Owen about that is or how it happened between him and Shawn and Brett, him and Vince and Shawn. But dude, you still that still gives you no reason to act as narcissistic and so thick-headed. That, it gives him no right to think like that. And it's basically says of where they murdered Owen to get back at him. It's like oh my god, man. It's Brett is just he really is he really is just a jackass for real. But yeah, that's episode 4, and we halfway done with this, and let's even get more psyched now. Hopefully, I feel like they can dig into a lot more. I don't think they're gonna mention the China thing and everything like that, or as such. As far as to get that based right there with the whole China ordeal, and probably I think with the word that everybody say, I think they're just gonna keep it surface level and probably talk about some other things with the family and stuff like that, or the ruthless aggression into the PG era, whatever. That's probably what they're gonna go into more. But we'll see though. But on to episode 5. Episode 5, where it's technically basically just of course about the family, the McMahon family, or just basically just another part of this already, man. I've kind of got my, and this is where the episode where I've been hoping that because we all know and love Vince is the crazy bastard that he is, and that is dwell even much more. Also gives a lot of bit more, but I wish this whole documentary was at least something new. But also not another, of course. Which I'm guessing that they're going to talk about the allegations probably in the last episode or the last probably hour or so. But of course, being that that was the whole selling point of this documentary, becoming the whole now, from the Janel Grant and the whole allegations and everything. But I guess they didn't want to, of course, that they didn't, of course, at the time that when they were recording this documentary about Vince McMahon and essentially the WWE, that they didn't know what was going to happen at, of course, now becoming what happened with the sexual trafficking allegations and Janel Grant and what led after that. So which is why they keep mentioning that also as well too. So okay, I get that. Okay, that's probably ignorant on my part for not realizing it immediately. But yeah, so yeah, well, episode 5. He started off that also that he, of course, being that he was abused by his stepfather, he was also sexually abused. Of course, the incest and basically being raped by his mother. And wow, I mean, yeah, that's also pretty disturbing and fucked up also as well. And like, damn, wow, that's wow, wow. Because it's just that's just wow, man. Pretty much, like I said, Vince, being that what every child has to endure and what he went through. So, but immediately after that, they go right into, of course, the whole of course, not before they get into of course, the Stephanie, because after that, I guess of course that she was pretty much just in the family too, pretty much just like Shane and everything like that, before they became what we know them as now. But of course, Stephanie, this is when Stephanie became a character, and that they were doing this whole thing because I guess because this is also when Triple H, when he was kind of becoming, of course, he was like trying to become into his own and trying to like basically become a main eventer, or he was trying to like break the mold from being a mid-carder and being one of the big guys. So and I think this is like one of his first storylines that I think this is one of his like first breakthroughs where he that you of course that he wanted to work, of course that which we know him today. But this is where Triple H also started to from trying to break the mold, and they were trying to like they were like desperately trying to, because they had the story, of course, with Stephanie and Test, and they were like trying to like they wanted to even end this earlier, and of course with the whole the wedding storyline and Stephanie marrying Test and everything like, because they wanted to end that, and lo and behold, oh god, man, this like at least this one too. Like this is one of the ones too. These storylines where I feel like that shit is just way too far, and where I look at it, it's just this is wow, man. Or you wish you could just go back and just this is pretty this is pretty fucking disturbing. This is not good. And Triple H essentially basically of course what they call it back in those days, my young fellows, what they called he had basically date raped Stephanie, and then she was like kind of unconscious, and then she was buried. That's what they had shown on television, where he showed it on television. They had of course constantly many times we consummated the marriage, and just out that, and then had her of course put the marriage in effect, and of course that began right there, the McMahon Helmsley era. And that like I said, that's one of the ones where I just, good God, that is so crazy. Definitely one of the things where I just look back on, it's just that is what it's if I could I guess I could we could probably kind of take back is the whole date rape kind of like storyline with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, basically being forced to marry and stuff like that. But and also apparently this is controversial, I guess, because of course women and there's so much of course being the whole thing about being objectified, and yeah, it's horrible, and just so sad, things among that nature. And but when it comes to like this Trish and her barking like a dog, and her basically almost being forcibly by McMahon forced to take her clothes off on television, and then getting all on fours while being half naked, getting on all fours and being forced to bark like a dog. But yeah, like I said, apparently that's controversial, but yeah, whatever. But that is like, wow. Well, and I definitely, again, there's a lot of other things, especially in that, the Attitude Era too. I mean, also probably would like to say that, other periods where it's just like, it's definitely other shit that's way worse, is it like out there than that kind of segment. But I guess, you had Meltzer even collectively saying that, I mean, which I kind of also kind of do agree that when it comes to wrestling fans, it's so they're just mouth watering. The wrestling fans are just mouth watering, just savages, and basically also incels, and and they love hot they love hot women who want to be degraded, which it could be. I mean, of course, like, who the fuck doesn't love the hot women, and just at the contrary. But like, the shit that he was saying, like, how they desperately want women to be degraded, and like, dude, like what are you, like, why are you even here? Oh my gosh, he was just saying a bunch of shit too. That was just that was so ridiculous. Like, oh my god, I hate it. I just hate Dave Meltzer I hated Dave Meltzer all throughout this documentary also. But yeah, that was the whole thing. But then we also, because you also go into I can't wait to get into, but yeah, then of course you have where they go into Sable and her suing Vince and the WWF because WWE, because of course whatever, I guess she just wanted more money, because at the time too, I wasn't, one of the things where I wasn't also privy, because just one of the stories where I just also wasn't privy to, probably either I didn't give a damn, or it's just like, guess because initially too, I mean, she's hot, but I didn't give a fuck about, more so because I like China too, so, or the other one, but I more so the other woman, more the other divas, but yeah, I did not give a fuck care in the world for Sable. Even like just being on screen, just looked like she just just the whole thing of her not wanting to really be there, not really having any care, more so just wanted to, like, that was the whole thing too. Of course, the whole thing about her really wanting to be a actress and in Hollywood and shit like that, be like, then more so than the wrestling industry. And of course, like, I feel like that whole thing, of course, the whole thing was about just her getting money, basically, and her wanting more money, because she was already becoming a difficult problem for Vince. So, but yeah, and of course everything like that, and which also occur, obviously her coming back, duh. But I didn't even know that. I don't what is it. Well, that's crazy how I just went past this too. Like, but yeah, well, of course, probably because I was too young. But I don't remember that shit either. But like, them having the whole segment, they showed a segment to where it's like, of course, Sable propped up like a pin doll on Vince's desk, and Vince like laughing, cackling, and having a big, like, looking like the devil, and it's Stephanie going off like, "You brought this woman back after suing us for $1 million or sexual assault?" Oh, wow. This is completely new to me. Wow. I never saw that clip at all, but wow. And yeah, that's just wow. It's like, well, good lord. But yeah, because we also, not before long ago, they also go into the whole thing about the XFL also too, which they bring that into the scoop. And of course, Vince, I mean, obviously that definitely, of course, because I didn't even know that too. I thought he was legitimately trying to create the league. But as they put it, though, that he was basically trying to, like, it was, but it's basically of what he was doing with, of course, WWE and the wrestling, but it was only it's with football. But like, yeah, I mean, you get some sort of way, but yeah, that obviously wasn't gonna work, especially with how they were trying to market it as if it was just the WWE of the NFL. But yeah, that was obviously that was gonna fail. Of course, they show like I think I've seen in Wentz too, that interview too, where he just goes off as the reporter dude, to where it's just, that's also an infamous interview to where yeah, he even says it himself that he should have been that he's an idiot for not seeing it coming. But yeah, practically that. But yeah, where he was just going off at the reporter, and he just basically about how undermining and trying to mock the fact that he was, of course, the fact that he was, a businessman in the wrestling world, and I was just trying to do what he was doing with the WWE in the wrestling world, and he was trying to bring that into the NFL. As such, and the that also was kind of pretty crazy too, and that was good. Also getting more, I guess, also a perspective on that too. Good looking from that. Yeah, that was pretty. Give me a second. Yeah, looking at that from perspective, that was kind of good too. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the whole XFL was gonna be a disaster. Could have, but like, yeah, because as they said, it was kind of like a success for start, but not like, yeah, the whole thing that he was trying. I don't think that was, especially how it was like basically essentially the football, the WWE football was, yeah, I don't, yeah, definitely it wasn't, was not gonna, really fly. Yeah. Oh, my bad. Though, well, yeah, like, did I think I mentioned that he was also trying to get Steph, yeah, of course, being that fact that, of course, the whole, yeah, it's that storyline, and trying to impregnate Stephanie, which really does, I guess that, which really does approve of that whole thing of like this, like, yeah, or I feel like he said himself too about to repeat of the sins of the basically the family, basically, and but yeah, like, just because also where you also try to have their wedding on pay per view, it's like, obviously logically, Stephanie with the hell, basically, yeah, immediately, hell no, like, come on, are you serious? And then, like, calling her selfish, like, oh, you crazy ass, like, you crazy bastard, Vince, you. Good lord. And then essentially instead make you having that whole match thing, no mercy. And yeah, like that, I say that was actually a week before the wedding. Are you kidding me? Yeah, wow, wow, it's wow. Definitely father of the year. Wow, bro. Oh wow. But yeah, that was, yeah, pretty cruel to endure. And which they also kind of go into, they also go into the fact that, which I was kind of ignorant to, And this, I mean, he liked the. I don't think he. Yeah, and it was still a lot of ways, especially when it comes to with the WWF now, and to where him being the owner now, they kind of go into like where they to where it's just between him and Shane, to where they have this healthy relationship, to where now it's just basically where it all like they they basically don't even know each other anymore because of the fact. And yeah, it just speaks to the volumes of how, in a way, Vince is kind of like his father, because he was the same way with him. Or whereas like he did, like wow, Vince is actually the same way actually, because he didn't his father, he didn't even want to sell to him or have him basically in a larger part of the business. And it's kind of like the same way with Shane. Oh wow, and it's sort of way it's like what if he Vince didn't even actually if his father didn't actually give him the company. So like that's like actually kind of, because Shane, it's basically they said essentially the same thing, where Shane, since Vince said it himself, where he said Shane wanted to take the chair, and it was basically his time now, and of course Vince wasn't going to allow that to happen, and essentially it's his, it's my company, and so and they just like how of course their relationship deteriorated from that moment, and they essentially became just not that just completely drifted apart, so and it's like wow, and that's when they of course, so damn, I was like kind of hoping they go much more into it, but that's and that's pretty also, especially over the years, telling how he pretty much an afterthought too, where he is the black sheep of the family, and where it's just like of course Triple H kind of takes his place, and then of course where it's just Stephanie, Triple H, and Vince, and where so Shane is is not really a factor anymore, and wow, that's like really just like damn, guys, damn, and where they that's where they leave off to of course they go right into the allegations, of course, be saying how they pretty much Sable settled out of court with them, and they go right into of course what's going to be in which I think the probably mentioned the Benoit tragedy, and some among other things. They also talked about of course John Cena and how they had to basically bring new stars after Austin and The Rock transitioning away. Stone Cold basically didn't like how it was going, the direction that it was going, basically into a new period, and of course essentially taking his ball and going home, and The Rock of course becoming a movie star, and of course, and basically the birth of course they talk about the ruthless aggression era, and just in a whole new period in John Cena, Orton, Lesnar, and John Cena, Orton, Lesnar, and all the Batista being a part of that, and how it was just moving from that to a period, and of course, that's pretty much it. So I definitely one among episode 5 too, which I love much more deeply too. But episode 6, the end of it all, and let's go into pretty much that. We at the end of the series, so let's hopefully they kind of get much more creative and which or much more deeper with a lot more stuff, which I don't know, or they trying to cut a new spin on that. So let's see what they got to offer in episode 6, last episode. Episode 6, here we are, the last one, and my apologies also because I'm also just trying to retrace back. It's very hard for me to do because this is all docuseries too, and it's like very hard to, because they talk about, of course, they really talk about like a lot of just old things. Also, they really like talk about a lot of topics and stories and situations. So it's very hard for me to like just try to like coop that into one, at least a little bit difficult. So I tried, just yeah. So like I said, my apologies if it may sound like too that I may stop at one point right here to try to retrace back. But yeah, like, this so just from was stemming from the last one because they kind of touched on because Cena just oh shit, I mean he actually said it. Oh, and actually get into it also. Well, yeah, I can't wait to get that. But yeah, like when Cena blatantly just says Benoit name, and he just says it so casually, like oh shit, are they gonna talk about Benoit? Are they gonna mention Chris Benoit? Because we know how and it's especially too, like how of course he's pretty much forbidden fruit, and of course the tragedy and everything, and how he's been erased from their history. And wow, this is like basically like the first time, probably like the first time and only time too that they finally talk about and mention Benoit. And as Christina was talking about how the newer stars that was coming up in the Ruthless Aggression era, or just stars in general. And yeah, he said Benoit's name. I was like, wow. So shit, yeah, they're gonna actually I guess talk about Benoit, Chris Benoit. I think I'm saying it wrong. Chris Benoit. And yeah, I was like, oh wow. And first start off with they showed Donald Trump and everything. Figure how, because like Donald Trump is the same person. How Donald Trump is there's similarities between Trump and Vince McMahon, and how of course the whole the billionaire feud storyline. And yeah, in a lot of ways, because I like how they in that ways, and you almost have to. And I like how they kind of like even Meltzer, because I'm pretty sure he's like it's hurt. I said that he hates Trump and everything like that, and probably most likely is on the part of that, on the left and everything like that, as far as his political views, I guess. But yeah, I feel like I'm glad that people will say they came together to say that Trump was, and all part too, just one of those celebrities too. It's not the only. That was a major part that was over the years too. Started from the 80s. That was a big part. And I never really noticed that too. Wow, but being that Trump was always there in some instances. And that he definitely was. That you damn sure that Trump was he was a majority contributor for the wrestling business. And definitely that's right. I can attest to that cue. But that's very refreshing to hear, and also to see that when they mention show a bit of like clips from when he was running for president and how we look at him today, especially. So, but definitely like to see that. Of course, when it comes to Trump being an entertainer, which he can very much well to be, he can do too, also as well, pretty much. And I wouldn't lie to this all. So I mean, practically are being at their friends, and that that Trump can basically do the same thing that Vince can do. And from that, but that was pretty very interesting. I just want to look at something. But from then and there, they get right into, of course, like the when it comes to just like of course the Vince was they was coming up with a storyline. Vince was coming up with his death, basically, that he was gonna that was death. They was gonna have the death on air, and of course the whole thing about the death of the Mr. McMahon character on TV. And I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I can't remember, because even at the time too, but I do, really, even if back then, but even now too, where I really feel really weird about it, because it's just like, oh, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it was probably like, I guess they were trying to go into a way to where it's just, I mean, this is creative, or this is in a fresh, exciting way that can be for WWE, and just like that just can help the product in new ways. So I guess but I just always felt that was just one of the ideas, just where it was just I don't really know if this is gonna work. So, but yeah, they go into that and how from there it's just like that he had to completely cut that short because yeah, that Chris Benoit, of course, the tragedy, and Chris Benoit, and basically, like we pretty much all know the story, and from there. So I won't get that much deep into it, but yeah, the tragedy happens, and Chris Benoit, and of course Nancy and Daniel and the family and everything. The murder suicide, essentially, as John Cena put it. So and yeah, everything with the rest is history from there also as well, and how they also go yeah, that being surreal. And yeah, he also talks, yeah, like which I didn't know either. Wow, like because they also have like Chris Noisky on there, and yeah, like I always thought, yeah, of course, he was one of the talents that just like Maven, like he just like after a few several years he just left left the company. But yeah, like he was during the match, and I guess the Royal Rumble that they said, and they did a move to where the couple, I guess a couple of wrestlers, to where he suffered a concussion. And at that, even at boys too, they like at that point, them too, that they thought that concussions, as pretty much everybody think, and I guess like the whole thing about CTE too, is where people thought that was bullshit, and they were like basically mocking him too. And people did, yeah, they didn't really take like that. I guess they didn't really take that sort of thing seriously, as opposed to the scare and the condition that really how concussions are, and it's a really big thing also too, and they've been that way. It's been which we really should, and I kind of applaud Whiskey for this too. But when it comes to the whole, he just trying to get people and trying to get this condition seriously about this scare, because it's a really big thing, and it's really talked about in the boxing world too when it comes to concussions with boxers, because repeatedly being hit so many times in the head, and in which they call it, of course, they had the name CTE, and it having such effect on a person, because like I said, it's talked about. It's a thing in boxing and football, pretty much, yeah. So like some of these sports, where it's just like the athlete is, where we've had many cases of this, and sometimes they may result in damning, like really dangerous scenarios that play out. And unfortunately, it's in this situation with Chris Benoit. What happened there, and they talk about it, and of course, like, because he like pretty kind of like the Office episode, like he did with like Vince did with the whole WCW versus WWF like that, the war and everything like that, or how and how like what he did. Also, I think I forgot to mention that what he did to like the other promoters in the '80s, to where he was like taking their talent and making it his own, and he was just completely deflecting, or basically saying, I can do this but you can't do that, kind of way. And yeah, he does do that, like what y'all call it, gaslighting. Yeah, I guess what the term is, gaslighting, and really just trying to manipulate the situation. And yeah, like they're like, wow, like come on, Vince. And usually, it's like and it happens here also as well. Just like even that they mentioned, because they also mentioned Undertaker, he had a case too, to where of course the undefeated streak storyline with back in 2014 when Brock beat the streak, and they said that Undertaker suffered a concussion, is like, and Vince is trying to completely dismiss that as it's not like you're gonna witness it, because it's not like it's just like you're just gonna have it like no, it's like, but yeah, it's like he can try to completely dismiss it, and it's like, wow, damn, Vince. Like damn, like what are you doing here? And it's like, but yeah, and it's just things among that nature. But so like among that respect, I definitely have for Nowinski and how yeah, because that's a big thing. And I don't know. I mean, definitely when we get to that day, but just for now too. But I'll leave it there when it comes to Chris Benoit. But essentially, yeah, and they start then grilling him. Yeah, they start because they start, grilling. They showed this scene where they, like, of course, he's being, all these wrestlers dying young, like Eddie Guerrero, and which I thought was another. That was basically another cause, but yeah, was basically trying to like pile up on Vince about all these other like wrestlers like Guerrero and Benoit and others were they were dying so young. And yeah, it was really funny. So I gotta watch that. I gotta at some point watch that interview too. But where he's just it's another interview where Vince is like, I just love it, bro. Yeah, like what y'all really just like for other celebrities to do also. But when a report, when you have this like this cup, this punk of a mofo of a reporter, weasel, and he's trying to just talk, just completely try to discredit and just basically try to get a rise out of you. And it's like, oh man, that's what I just thought I love Vince, man, because that's just, oh man, he just like, so it just felt like he was gonna knock the crap out of him. And it's just, yeah, I definitely gotta watch that interview someday. Oh man, that was that when he just kept like this also too, but yeah. But yeah, that's just like, yeah. But just another. I felt just, yeah, of course, just another reason for of course, this comes back at Vince. And of course, yeah, they talk about, of course, Cody coming up in the WWE. Him like where, of course, because when they started that whole thing, of course, introducing Cody and how he came up on the main roster after, in the blink of the Benoit tragedy, and of course, them introducing the wellness policy. Because yeah, that's still at that point too, and probably like during the like late night, during the Attitude Era to the Ruthless Aggression Era, by 2006. That of course, because you had a couple that were busted still, but he was still doing it, so that were still taking steroids. Because cause I had read, I was still reading, I think I was still reading dirt sheets at that time too, and that you still had a couple of wrestlers being busted for using steroids, drugs, and so pretty much that, of course, that like that was like not like if the steroid trial stopped them, but that was pretty much still was going on, and of course the wellness policy being introduced and them, essentially going from TV for, of course, the whole thing of the adult orientated type of content to more even completely family friendly, basically back to family friendly again. And of course the PG era, and and John Cena, of course, them talking about it and just them going complete to complete PG era, and just from being forced to do that because, of course, from the Benoit tragedy and everything like that. And I guess, of course, I definitely would love to get to that someday also as well. But of course, we all those, would love to get to that. Another thing I won't go too deep and well into. They held, which is also funny too, because like Backpacks are still doing this because they also, I think I forgot to mention that this, like, of course, the women's revolution and how women's wrestling was perceived, where, and they sort of act like, I do have things to mention, but which I said was essentially act like where they have, like, basically where the women wrestlers were victims and everything like that. Like, that's like that shit right there also too is just which cracks me up also as well. But yeah, I'd love to say that for a later video also as well. But which they all, because they also mentioned that, of course, again when it revs up in the women's revolution, and I think they because we also go, and then we get more insight. We go straight into Shane coming back in 2016, and of course, being that the relationship between them and how it was because they didn't. And I also got, I think I got to mention too, to where it's like this was basically like, I mean, because he's a psychotic maniac, which pretty much was like, he's like, Paul Heyman put it the best way too. He's like, if you can't take this company from me, if you want this company so bad, how about you take this dagger and you put it right through my chest? And it's like, because if you can't do that, that's pretty much the only way you're gonna take this company from me. And it's like, you can't do that, I guess you're not man enough. And I was like, and also I thought that was which was the whole really just took me out. Because and they also from that, because they also showed that, of course, right, cut straight to Shane has left the company in 2010 or not. I guess you say, that was that. Oh man, hot damn. But they also, because and that's when because like I said, back to Shane coming back in 2016, and pretty much, and of course the storyline and everything like that, and basically Shane being back. And also talking about how he's just trying to get back into good graces. And I never really saw that match, too. Like I said, at this point, too, I was pretty much out of it also as well. So it's not like but I will someday. It's not like I saw the match between him and Taker at WrestleMania 32. But I'm pretty sure it was good. But, like I said. But, definitely be giving that got to give that match a look-see someday. But, it was pretty, really emotional. But I even got tearful. At a point, because because essentially Vince is treating Shane how, I mean, of course he's still like way better. It's not like probably kind of, but it's not, he's obviously way better to and a way better father than his father. But it's like essentially, especially like the business part where, like I said, like where Vince's father didn't even want to give him the company, didn't want to sell him the company, or basically have any part in it. And you have essentially Vince doing the same thing to his own son. And it's like basically, of course, that whole thing about father son wanting approval from the father, basically, and Shane talking about that and too what they basically he got at. And that was that was definitely because like I said, I kind of teared up at that also. But that was pretty emotional moment too. But as they went into it. Damn, like I was thinking also in a minute, but he definitely did. Like, Shane did also kind of way he did. I feel like like I said, I don't care. I would have loved to see what the company was if it was under Shane. But I feel like he should have continued that tradition where it should have been Shane to where he controls the whole company now. But I feel like, of course, Vince's just completely maniacal, personality and just how he is, just how where he's just completely obsessed now to where it's point to where it's just like it's obviously it's all his. And it's just like, but I just like the moment too where he just talked about his kid, him coming out. I gotta watch that movie, but they showed the clip of where it's just like him and his kids, and he's doing the whole, of course, his Shane O'Mac entrance, and that was pretty heartfelt also as well. And it's just that's man. Like I said, of course, they bring a little bit about, let's say, of course, the PG from the PG era, and they come in like how going throughout the 2010s, how, of course, WWE Network, and then eventually going to Peacock, and of course, even a little mention of AEW, and that's of course Cody Rhodes and everything like that, really bringing up. Of course, like thoughts, and that he eventually after him, but they're talking about how he'll never leave, but Triple H and Stephanie being at the helm of the company. But yeah, that's where they bring up, of course, the initial avowed allegations happened, and Stephanie resigning, and Vince trying to push his way back in and stuff. Like, of course, I was even there for that, but and then the initial allegations to where, of course, and from Stephanie coming out to try to get a war cry, and trying to, like, basically trying to still trying to get much of a still of a likable a likable reaction for Vince. And I said it was kind of where I said I even covered that too, but yeah. And of course, they go from there until more about it with Janel Grant and the allegations and Brock Lesnar being mentioned and everything like that. To, of course, what we know, obviously, because the course to where, like I said, I covered that. I was there for that, because I said I won't really go into that, but because you can go, because like I said, those videos too were is still here, in which you can go back to watch that. But yeah, of course, they bring it. Those are pretty much brought up, and which I've. Uh, they also, bring up the, of course, they throw in there with a little bit of mention of really go into it, but yeah, just more of the pile on of allegation when it comes to of course what happened to Ashley Massaro, and yeah, just that sad tragic story too. But yeah, that Ashley Massaro and how her just committed suicide and everything like that, and the rape, and how basically WWE Vince just covered it up and ignored it. But yeah, I would definitely like to get more research about that and how that happened. But that was yeah, and then they go. I said they go more just, of course, just still blinking into the pack, basically the back and forth with what's going on between the Janel Grant allegations, and of course that, and that was yeah, that was pretty much it. So, and of course the present day of how the allegations being cause I think they're paused now because I guess the government is trying to investigate him again was for that. But yeah, like I said, I think I said it before. I don't think, of course, I don't really think, well, anything could happen, but I don't think they're really gonna find anything because of the fact being that of course, I mean, we even got the text about which also could be fake also, but her disproving of the sexual assault and it being a consensual relationship. But but like I said at the time, Vince isn't really guilty of anything, because yeah, this isn't real, and I feel like it's just that it's another situation to where it's yeah, it's just a woman just trying to get money out of her, money, and pretty much at the end of it, just trying to get money out of the rich dude. But so, and yeah, which I pretty much think about it. But yeah, this is I don't know, a lot of it. Of course, what I just said, a lot of it is because I pretty much know it all before. But yeah, it was still didn't feel like a complete waste of time because we got I feel like a lot still like a little bit of half of the information I got was kind of still didn't know and still kind of knew one. But yeah, that's what felt. I've definitely felt like probably he's got it's probably a couple documentaries on Vince out there, but this was still good. Kind of like a Vince / WWE, as they call it, the controversial life of Vince McMahon. And yeah, I mean, I felt this. I mean, this is all right. This is decent. I felt like but I felt like there was, of course, there's other documentaries out there, especially for the birth of WWE from beginning to mid to now, that are done way better. It's, especially A&E, because they do the wrestler biographies, and they're really good with that. Especially Vice. they well, at least with the drama that they handle things. But I mean, yeah, this is all right. This was pretty decent, and definitely got more. Like that, I got more when it comes to like a little bit of stories, like of course the Ring Boy scandal and as such. More context on the relationship with Shane, in between Shane and Vince, and things among that nature. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, it wasn't. Yeah, it was pretty good. Definitely, I'll probably go back to rewatch a couple of times, but pretty much. But I feel, yeah, this is pretty much like Netflix trying to. I guess they were like marketing the Janel Grant, because they do. Of course, it's just like still. They don't even go that well. It's not like, I mean, they still like a little bit. They go over what we already know, but it's like yeah, I feel like that was like the whole like to get, because it's on top. It's on top 2 of the top 10 of series being watched right now. So I feel like yeah, that was still basically their whole. After the allegations, the Janel Grant arc of what's being told right now, I feel like that was the selling point. And which, because the majority of the shit is what's in the documentary is what we already know. It's especially, you know, if you're a wrestling fan that's been in this for like 20 or 30 more years, that you already know. So yeah, a lot of it's just for filler pretty much, like because he mentioned like stuff like Rock and Hogan, and of course the birth of the periods of eras and stuff like that, which and having the Montreal screw job and the Monday Night Wars, which we really didn't need. So this was, I feel like it was Netflix just trying to do like a document just of their own, and they really needed a big like marketing tactic to bring a lot of people in. And I guess it worked because, of course, the Janel Grant allegations and that arc in right now that was the perfect spot. And that was kind of like the telling point to get people to tune in. Because, this was, I mean, majority of it wasn't really needed. But at the same time, it was, like I said, because there's still information there that I felt that I kind of liked and really got into. Was really kind of interesting, but so but there you go. And it's probably a long ass video, pretty much like a movie, so it is a documentary of sorts, so a lot to talk about. But there you go though. I'll probably be back before like when Bad Blood comes. I'll be back when Bad Blood comes. I'll probably That's because obviously, or at least something else comes up. But like y'all enjoy all weekend, stay blessed or whatever you're doing, however it starts.